Hi, I'm Lee Acaster, and in this series we're going to be looking at some tips and tricks for landscape photography. In this video I'll be talking a little bit about myself and showing you some of the gear I use and how I got into landscape photography. I first got into landscape photography a couple of years ago, really, about 4 or 5 years ago when I moved to East Anglia. I was given a voucher for a workshop, a landscape photography workshop by my wife, and I spent an afternoon with a professional landscape photographer, and it really opened my eyes as to how to get those shots I'd been trying to get and never quite able to. I learnt a lot about the type of equipment that's needed, particularly about filters, which was a real eye-opener, but a lot of it was just learning about light and realising what a big difference light can make to an image. We spent an afternoon at a mill just waiting while the sky was grey and dull, and then this little gap appeared in the clouds and suddenly everything was illuminated, and it made the world of difference. And that's when I realised actually that a lot of landscape photography is about waiting and seeing and just waiting for that moment to be right. I spend a lot of time shooting along the Norfolk and Suffolk coast because it's close to where I am, and a lot of time in the woods, but probably my favourite location would be Shingle Street down in Suffolk. It's a tiny little hamlet with just a little row of coastguard cottages and a few houses and these huge shingle banks with lagoons in, and the sun rises over the sea, and it's a really magical place on a morning, and I could spend and do spend hours there. I've been lucky enough to have quite a lot of work published, which is always really satisfying. A fair few magazine features. I've been lucky enough to win a couple of competitions, such as the Amateur Photographer of the Year competition from their magazine, so that can lead to interviews, and it's always really nice when you walk around one of the news agents and open up a magazine and see one of your shots there. So I'd definitely advise sending work in, because you know you've got nothing to lose, and it's a really nice feeling to see your work in print. I've also been lucky enough to have quite a bit of success in various competitions, which have led to being in some of the landscape photography books, such as the Landscape Photographer of the Year from last year. I've got a couple in, and the year before, which was the first time I'd really been published, and it's really satisfying to see your work in sort of surrounded by great quality images like this. My main body that I use most of the time is a Canon 5D Mark II. I got this used a few years ago, so it's a bit of an old warhorse. I've dropped it on rocks. It's been completely soaked in downpours, and it always starts up again. Always seems to work. So you know, I'm a big fan of the camera. It's heavy and it's full frame, but you know, it does the job. I shoot with live view a lot because I'm often on a tripod, or nearly always on a tripod. I find that's a really good way of kind of making me consider the composition as much as anything. I can get the focus perfectly sharp, and I really look into the image before I take the shot. This is my Zeiss 18mm super wide lens, which is my go-to lens really. I use this more than any other. It's manual focus, again, which is fine because I'm on a tripod most of the time, and it's also really well built, and again has been smashed and dropped a few times, and it always seems to survive it. I've got a Lee wide-angle adapter ring on there. I have those on all my lenses, simply because it means I can take the filter holder off, switch lenses, get it back on there, and I don't waste any time. So if conditions are changing quickly, I can swap lenses and swap filters very quickly without wasting any opportunities. So this has got 2 slots in it, which I put in neutral density filters or big stopper, little stopper, such as that. And I've got a Lee circular landscape polarizer on the front, which is a circular polarizer. I leave that on nearly all the time because if I don't want the effect it creates, then I can give it a turn and I'll lose that effect, but it means I've got it there as an option if I do want to cut out reflections, deepen the sky and so forth. My tripod I'm currently using is a Gitzo, which is carbon fibre, and so it's quite light, but it's incredibly sturdy and it's incredibly adaptable. It goes up to something ridiculous like 8 foot, which I'll never need, but it's handy if you're on a hillside or anything. It means you've always got that extra reach. I've got a Manfrotto Junior geared head on there, 410, which is great. It's quite heavy, but it's incredibly sturdy. and it can be adjusted fractionally, you know, really good for composition purposes. In my bag I've also got a second body, which is again is a Canon 5D Mark II. This one you'll notice has got a Nikon strap on it. That's just so I can differentiate between the two, because this one's converted for infrared work, which I do a lot of in black and white particularly. You'll notice that the lens has got this Lee lens cap on. That means I can keep the wide angle adapter on there, slip one of those on, and that's all ready. So it means I can essentially change lenses very quickly and put my filter kit on in a couple of seconds. So it's really good for being ready for any changing conditions. It's got a Canon 45mm tilt shift lens on there. Great for creative work. You can tilt the plane of focus, so you can either get really good depth of field right through the image, or you can shorten that depth of field and get a small line of focus, which is great for sort of doing some creative work. And also you can shift the image, which means you can convert your straighten your verticals, or it's great for stitching images together to create a perfect panorama. Also in my bag I've got a couple of other lenses. I've got a Sigma 35mm, which is a great sort of all-round landscape lens, pin sharp, I'm a big fan of that. Goes down to f1.4, so it's very wide as well. And a Canon 70-200 f2.8. Very fast lens, great for wildlife and that kind of things, but I use it mainly for shooting trees because it's got lovely bokeh, and it's great for getting kind of really nice sort of dreamy images in the woods. Also great if you're up somewhere high and you want to get like a small zoomed in area of the landscape, compressing the image and things like that. It's great for that. It's quite a heavy lens, so I don't always carry this one around with me, but this is my kind of general kit that I'd carry around most of the time. The bag I use is a Tamrac Expedition 7. It's a big old bag, but it means I can get all my kit in there comfortably, so it's also quite comfortable to carry. I do like the fact it's got these front pockets, which means I can keep batteries and things like that in there, which are really easily accessible without having to open the whole bag up, particularly if the weather's not great. On the other side I have a little lens spray, which is great for cleaning rain off a lens and things like that. A couple of lens cloths. In the front pocket I carry my Lee filter kit, which is great in this little pouch, which you can just sling over your shoulder. You can get into the filters really easily. I keep them all in order so I know exactly which filters I can get to and really quickly, and it saves a lot of time. Again, it's all about working quickly with what you're comfortable with, so when conditions change I'm ready for it. I know where everything is and I can get it on there quickly. I use filters a lot because although particularly with modern sensors you can get round you can blend images, or dynamic range is great for coping with extreme conditions, but I do like to get the shot as near to possible in camera as I can, because I don't want to spend a long time in processing, and it's more satisfying I think to get that image right in the field and you feel as though you've got the shot then. In East Anglia with our flat horizons I tend to use mainly hard grads, because there's a lot of coastal shots and things where a hard grad gives you a perfect line on the horizon just to balance the sky out. If you're in a hillier area or you've got lots of sort of trees on the horizon and things, then a soft grad's generally better. It gives you a more sort of subtle effect. I also use a Nisi reverse grad quite a lot, which is a darker area on the grad and then fades out again, which is great for when you've got kind of a sunrise, sunset and the sun's just on the horizon. That's my basic kit bag. There are lots of other kind of little bits I have in there, things for tightening up my tripod and spare memory cards and stuff, but that's essentially what I carry around most of the time. I do sometimes leave lenses out if I'm walking a long distance and I don't want to carry the big 70x210, but that's my standard carry around kit. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out the Wex blog for more tips and tricks on landscape photography.